Many years ago, I had a dream about opening a club which would only open its doors between the months of October and April. A warm, welcoming place with roaring log fires and cozy nooks where you could sit with your friends and chat about things that interest you. Well, I couldn't even begin to afford to open a club, so the dream died. But its passing is commemorated by this podcast, presenting, for the winter months, a series of cozy chats with friends old and new on topics of interest. Welcome to the October Club. A slight change of plan for this episode. Tonight sees the return of my old friend, the writer, actor, and all-round good egg, Rupert Booth. Rupert was my guest on the very first episode of the October Club, and he's returned to the fold to chat about a television and movie phenomenon that originated long before either of us were born. In the earliest days of television, the Manx writer Nigel Kneale wrote the 1953 adult science fiction serial The Quatermass Experiment, which took the UK by storm and led to a further two serials for the BBC, 1955's Quatermass 2 and 1958's Quatermass and the Pit, as well as a belated fourth instalment, simply called Quatermass, for ITV in 1979. The first three were adapted for the cinema, helping to launch the struggling British studio that eventually blossomed into Hammer Films. And the series has spawned books, comic strips, and radio serials. So join Rupert and I as we explore the world of Quatermass. Oh, and be warned, this episode may contain scenes unsuitable for children and persons of a nervous disposition. Hi, Rup. Welcome back to the October Club.
Hello.
Yeah, so last time you were here, we were talking about The Prisoner. This time, we're talking about something even older.
Yeah, because we're up to the minute, we are.
Yeah, we're so topical.
Absolutely.
So old that it was like 3/4 of it is well before we were even born.
Yes, absolutely, yeah. And we were children for the last quarter of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it really is before our time.
So when did you first hear about it? When were you ever first aware of it?
I think that our generation has the same thing of our parents talked about Quatermass and Hushed Tones. Oh, it was terrifying.
Yeah.
And that was it. And that was, it was a TV show and it was Quatermass and it was great and it was terrifying. But we'd never ever be able to see it. It was literally just those memories of that thing and it was great and that was that. And so there was this fascination. I mean, we've talked before about, obviously, we haven't talked about it. We lived through it. Our experience in archive television is the same. We start from the gateway drug on Doctor Who and expand from that.
Yeah.
And this was even more mysterious than kind of Hartnell episodes, which back then we couldn't really get. I think I was trying to get them on pirate stuff.
Yeah.
Well, not back then. So it was just, and occasionally there'd be maybe an article in a magazine about it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm thinking back. This is the 70s we're talking about that I would have first heard the word Quatermass.
Yeah. I think I seem to remember that my first thing was, the Jeff Love and his orchestra, Star Wars and other space themes LP.
Oh, hell yeah.
I had that, and it had Mars Bringer of War, which was the theme of the first two Quatermass serials on there. And I had no idea what it was. There wasn't a picture of it on the cover. I didn't know what it was.
No.
And I think I mentioned it to my uncle, who was a real sort of TV and cine asked. And he kind of explained to me sort of what it was, and he said about, all the stuff people always say, the pub's emptying, because people...
Yeah.
I don't know how true that is, because not that many people would have had televisions when the first one was on. But
in the Quatermass experiment, it certainly wouldn't have got as far as the Northeast, because there wasn't vision of the Northeast.
Yeah,
then.
I think when he was kind of saying that, he was probably talking about Quatermass and the Pit. But
I think most people do.
Yeah,
because Quatermass experiment was pretty London, I think. Yeah.
It's hard to what makes me feel really old is when I kind of think about when I was a kid, somebody saying to me about having seen the Quatermass experiment, and it seemed like centuries ago.
Absolutely.
And you're thinking that was less than us telling a kid these days about the Paul McGann Doctor Who TV movie. That was less
Yes, I
time
know.
ago than that.
I know. We've got video productions that we made in our 20s that were older in terms of distance of time.
Yeah.
And yet Quatermass was just unattainable.
I think that was the thing, though.
Um,
Don't you think that was the thing, was that you couldn't get it? I mean, you could tell,
oh yeah,
like I was saying, you could tell a kid now about the Paul McGann Doctor Who TV movie, and they could
and they
go
go
on
straight.
iPlayer and watch it. You
Absolutely.
couldn't watch Quatermass, there was no
No,
means of doing it.
no, no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Yeah, it was absolutely a different time in terms of media. I mean, whether things existed or not, it didn't really matter. We were never going to get to see them. We didn't have
Yeah.
access to them.
What I was thinking for this podcast is, rather than go through them in the order they were made, which would be the sensible thing to do, we'll go through
Mhm.
them in the order we kind of experience them, which I'm guessing for us is probably the same
Right.
sort of order, which isn't really the order they were
Well,
kind
let's
of
see.
made
Let's
in.
see.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
see. Yeah.
I mean, well, we'll talk about the Quitmass experiment because there's so little of it there to see. So,
Well, this
we'll
might
talk
be
about
where
it.
our experiences differ because I had
Yeah.
episode one of that in about 1991.
Yeah, I think I saw one episode on a pirate
Right.
VHS, which had been filmed off a screen. It must have been shown at some kind of festival somewhere, and somebody had shot it on a screen.
My copy was surprisingly good. It was a proper BBC telecine of the
Oh,
of the
right.
telerecording. It wasn't that many generations down, 4 or 5. Now that sounds terrible, but my first copy of Edited Destruction was, I think, about 10 or 11 generations down and unwatchable.
Yeah, yeah,
This was actually quite good quality in terms of the video generations, but I
yeah,
was stunned by the quality of the picture,
yeah,
or
yeah.
the lack thereof, the lack of definition, the lack, the very early picture, which, it was made apparently, according to Toby Hadoke's book,
Mhm.
on the very first cameras the BBC had in 1936, the
Oh,
Emitrons, the
right.
same
God.
ones.
Yeah,
Um, so it's a fascinating insight into what 1930s television would have looked like.
yeah. I
It
mean,
would have looked like that.
yeah, it's extraordinary in a way that it became so successful because, as you said, a lot of people couldn't see it. Very few people could see it. Very few people had televisions. It was made on very basic cameras.
Hmm.
The style of production is very old-fashioned. Everybody's terribly like this.
They are I had a scrap through the four Quatermass
Yeah,
beforehand just to reacquaint myself with the feel of them.
yeah,
And I have noticed that the level of RP decreases throughout. I mean, I'm not saying Andre Morel isn't still very BBC proper, but he's not quite, it's the women, isn't
yeah,
it? In
yeah.
Quatermass Experiment and in Quatermass 2, they are very, very, aren't they?
Yes,
I
they're
mean,
terribly
very.
like this. You tend to
Yeah.
get two people. You tend to get the posh.
So I shall try.
You tend to get posh people talking like that. Or
Yeah.
I'm a working class person. I
Or
am.
you get Wilfred Bramble or whoever. Yeah, frequently.
Yeah,
I mean, Wilfred Bramble turned up in Quatermass Experiment as well. We just don't
yeah,
have that. And
yeah,
then they bring him back to play basically exactly the same kind of part in Quatermass 2. I must have been quizzing. Um,
yeah.
Professor Quatermass, it's true to say, isn't it, that this atomic rocket, the very first of its kind, is a tremendous technical advance.
Well, yes, I dare say we have surprised a few people.
Oh, I should say so indeed. Designed and built entirely by British brains and muscle. And now, Professor, can you tell us something about the crew?
Well, we shan't know that for a few hours.
Well, no, sir, I meant some personal details. Who are they
I'm
exactly?
sorry. Well, the senior member is my friend and colleague, Charles Green. He's responsible for navigation. Well, we employ automatic piloting, of course, and our own remote control.
Oh, I see, yes. Is Mr. Green married?
Yes, oh, yes. His wife arrives by comet tomorrow from Australia.
I see. Who else?
Well, then there's Dr. Ludwig Reichenheim. I expect you remember his experiments with rockets in Germany before the war, don't you?
Oh, yes, indeed, I do, yes.
Well, the youngest member is Victor Caroon. He's responsible for as engineer and radio operator. And
Sort of
so-
general gadgets,
That's
etc.
right.
Is he married?
Yes, yes. As a matter of fact, his wife is my first assistant.
Oh, really?
Yes, she's over there.
Oh, it must have been a frightfully anxious time for her, for you all.
Yes, yes, yes.
But we hope soon now to have some good news of these three valiant Britons, or British subjects. Thank you, Professor.
Reginald Tate. What do you think of him as a
I think he's
Quatermass?
great. I think
Yeah.
he's tremendous. I wish we had the other 4 episodes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nigel Kneale always said ultimately he was his favorite. Now that's up
Yeah.
against Andre Morel. That's
Yeah.
impressive. I think if we had Reginald Tate delivering that huge, because the finale is basically on him,
Yeah.
as far as we can ascertain, with some branches and fronds waving in the background and some sound effects, but it's on him to deliver it.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think he would have absolutely creamed it. I think it would have been magnificent. I really like him.
Is it? Do you think there's any truth in the suggestion I have read? I don't know, and I think it's also unsubstantiated that Andre Morel was offered it, the
No,
first
there is
one,
truth.
and he.
Apparently, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Oh, it is true, is it? Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And he turned it
Um,
down. But by the
yeah.
time of the third one, he thought, "Oh, actually, this is quite
I
quite
can't remember.
successful."
I could look it up, I suppose. But at this Rube, I can't remember if he turned it down or whether he just wasn't available. He was doing a film or something.
Yeah.
He may have
Yeah.
turned it down. But I mean, the Quatermass experiment is an interesting one because it comes in the same year as the coronation.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so when you said earlier about it's amazing it became so popular, I think it's not so much it did, but television did. And
Yeah.
it rode on the back of that. And it was a hugely successful, innovative piece of television drama. It really drove the
Yeah.
medium forward, but the medium itself was absolutely a juggernaut by this point.
Mm.
Television was kicking off big time.
Yeah. It's still very production wise, it's a million miles behind film at this stage, though, isn't it?
Oh,
Because
hugely.
if you look at 55, Hell Drivers was made in 55.
Yeah,
If you look
yeah,
at that and compare that to the Quatermass
absolutely.
Experiment, it's just the gulf is
Well,
incredible between television
I
and film.
I think if you compare the Quatermass experiment to Quatermass 2, the gulf is incredible.
Yeah,
Because so much more Quatermass 2, what that really gives us is location filming. They get
yeah,
out of the scope of it is so much bigger.
yeah,
And they get out on film, and then that's refined again in Pit, where a lot of it's Ealing filming rather than
yeah,
location, but still you have the flexibility of using film and editing and
yeah,
pacing and all that sort of bit.
yeah,
It's a different. It's. I think the Quatermass experiment is an example of the last vestiges of the very earliest form of television from the 30s,
yeah,
40s, and the early 50s, where it is theatre
yeah,
with
yeah,
with some trick shots, with some trick effects, with some very limited stuff you can do, and they're kind of getting the idea of film inserts. I mean, there were some in episode 4 of the Quatermass experiment that we don't have, of course,
yeah.
shot on location. Not hugely complicated stuff, though. Scene setting in
Yeah.
Hyde Park rather than storytelling.
So was that, I mean, we think of it now as being the episodes that aren't there as being lost. Were they ever actually tele-recorded? Was it all tele-recorded at one time?
There's only anecdotal evidence that they were ever tele-recorded, and
Right.
there's decent evidence that the tele-recordings were stopped because of the quality of the first two, mostly
Yeah.
episode 2, with that fucking fly. Um, so it's down to that fucking fly that we don't have best, basically, as far as I can gather. So thanks, fly. You died long before we were born, but to hell with you.
So for anyone who's never seen it, there's a fly crawling across the. Is it on the camera lens or on the screen that
It's on the
it's?
screen.
It's
It's
on
on
the
the screen.
screen, and
And you do wonder if at any point you're going to get a really shadowy finger just coming in and going, knocking it
yeah,
off. But
or a
that,
spray coming in.
yeah, yeah. Um, I believe afterwards they devised baffles to go between the lens and the screen to make sure that sort of shit didn't happen. But again, early days. I mean, the way it was recorded was ingenious. It's a mirror drum system
Yeah,
designed for the reverse side of it, for telecine, for putting film onto video, onto
yeah,
television. But they reverse it. And so you get this very interesting sort of quality of image, which is Quatermass 2. It's you can see the line structure very clearly because that's a skip field recording. Am I being at all interesting here?
no,
Sorry.
no, that's fine. That's
Um,
fine.
but Quatermass 1, experiment, that's got both fields blended together, so you don't get that sort of stepped image,
Yeah,
but it's very soft. But then the original cameras were very soft.
yeah.
The image was really, really ghostly.
It is a shame that we've only got part of it, but
Shame. Huge shame.
um,
And I think it's frustrating because they did record the first two. It's not like they couldn't have done it.
yeah,
They just decided not to. It's because, you bastards! Don't you realize how important this? No, you didn't, and nor could you be expected to. But still, you bastards.
And they didn't even restage it either. Like something like
No,
1984 was restaged. They didn't even do that.
RCA did have plans to do that.
Yeah,
And after it had gone down so well, they had a plan to restage the entire thing, kind of like the Doctor Who omnibuses. The
yeah,
omnibus
yeah,
edits, except you wouldn't do an edit then, you'd restage it, but I think it was going to be cut down, and that would have been telerecorders.
yeah.
But it didn't happen for reasons.
Okay, so let's skip ahead, substantially ahead to probably what was our first experience.
Mm,
Certainly was my first experience of Quatermass, which was the 1979. I always want to say 1980, but it's not. It's 1979. Euston
yeah.
Films Quatermass with Sir John Mills.
So I'm afraid I can't help you. I was a bit too young. I didn't
Did
see
you
it.
not
I
see it
wasn't
at the
sure.
time? I did because
I
it's
know. I knew it was around. I knew it was a thing. But
yeah,
I mean, my parents may have watched it, but it would have lost me completely.
yeah.
79.
Yeah, and to my mind, in my mind, it's inextricably linked with the strike, the ITV strike that was
Yeah,
on
yeah,
immediately
yeah,
before it, because I think it was supposed to be on
yeah.
early. I think was it November or something? It was
It
showing
was
it.
postponed, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was supposed to be a lot earlier than
Yeah.
that, because of the strike, it was put right back. And I remember them having these little jingles. Welcome, welcome, welcome home to ITV. And then they had, our shows because they were trying to push, their big stuff to get people to watch
There's
ITV. And
continuity for this.
one of the things they were pushing
Yeah,
was Quatermass.
that's right. Yeah,
And
yeah.
I remember
And
seeing that and thinking, ooh, yeah,
it's a very lavish thing. I was, like I say, I may have seen it in the background, but it didn't hold my attention. I don't
yeah,
remember.
yeah,
I remember it being around.
yeah,
I remember it being mentioned in hushed terms. Oh, Quatermass,
yeah.
again. But I've no memory of seeing it at all. Do you?
Yes, I do. I do remember. I remember quite vividly watching it. I'll have been 9 at the time. I'll have been
Mhm.
nearly 10. So I was possibly my parents let me watch it, but then my parents let me watch Hammer House of Horror.
You
I
see,
look
mine
back at some
didn't.
of the things.
Yeah,
Let me
I
watch.
had a bit more censorship.
But yeah, I remember watching it, and I have a vivid memories of it, and
Right.
kind
To
of
understand it. I mean, what it must have been very abstract to you. I mean, it's
yeah, I
pretty
kind
abstract.
of
Yeah.
I think you can watch it without kind of having any prior knowledge of Quatermass. I don't think
Oh,
it
certainly,
requires any.
certainly.
But yeah, I kind of got. I probably possibly didn't get all the finer nuances of it at the
Mm,
time
mm.
because obviously he was very pissed off with society and
Yeah, it's really misanthropic, isn't it?
yes,
I mean, staggeringly so. The other Quatermass aren't quite as much so.
no,
And actually, Pitt, I was thinking earlier, it kind of gives the human race a free pass. Oh, it's from the Martians. Don't worry about it.
yeah,
But,
yeah,
and nowadays, I'm a bit kind of nah. Yeah. My version of a fictional universe, the humans are bastards because humans are bastards,
yeah,
and it's not an external influence.
yeah. I mean that was supposed to Quatermass. I called it the Quatermass conclusion because it's just confusing calling it Quatermass. For anybody who
Yeah,
doesn't know, it was filmed as a TV series called Quatermass in 4 parts and a film called The Quatermass Conclusion, which
yeah.
didn't really get much play as a film, but
No, no. It's not. Funnily enough, I don't know. It's an odd one. I do think it's the weakest of the four.
yeah.
And I somehow feel almost it might have been better being made in a videotape studio.
What was it? It was originally supposed to be the BBC, wasn't it? He'd pitched
It
it.
were in
I think it was in
1973, yeah.
pre-production. Yeah,
Yeah, Ian Scoons built models and things. There's a couple of shots of that, but that's as far as it got.
yeah.
Again, for instance.
I mean, I think it does look nice being shot by
Oh,
Euston
it looks
Films, who
great.
shot entirely on film. It's produced by Verity
It
Lambert.
looks great.
Um,
Yeah, yeah, indeed. I mean, and
it,
directed
it
by
it
Piers.
looks fantastic, but it's I don't know. I think it could have done with somebody going on.
Incongruous as a piece of Quatermass.
Yeah, it could really. I think he was being
Yeah,
given too much free rein. It could have done with somebody going, "Oh, lighten up a bit, Nigel. Come on."
yeah. I think as a late 70s television science fiction show, it's tremendous because it's
Yeah,
intelligent, of course. It's got great depth to it.
yeah,
It's got some odd bits like Joe Cap going bonkers after his family die. I don't think
yeah.
that's very well done. I don't know. I don't think Sam
Yeah,
McCorkindale
because
does
he's
it.
just kind of wandering around, isn't he?
Kind of with a smile on his face. No, it's fine. It's fine. They're all alive. They got away, and
Yeah,
you don't buy it. I don't know. It doesn't seem quite right for Quatermass because
yeah,
the scientists are always held up as being these exemplars
yeah,
and strong people who will stand up to the mental stress of what's going on and
yeah,
deal with it regardless and stay calm. And
yeah.
Joe Cat just kind of goes to shit. But hey,
So, I mean, when did you first encounter that then, if you didn't see it
that would have
live?
been in the 90s. That would have been getting a copy in the 90s. Again,
Yeah,
a copy.
yeah,
But it would have been after I saw Quatermass in the Pit.
yeah. Because, I mean, like I
Yeah.
say, I saw that when it went
Mm,
out, and certain things I remember more than others. I remember
yeah.
the music, the electronic music in it.
I remember the music.
Um,
I think that would have been everywhere. They would have used that a lot. They would have promoted it.
yeah.
Or I might have remembered the title sequence. The music sticks in the mind. Yeah.
I remembered the nursery rhyme as well, Ringstone Round. That kind of stuck in my head.
Right.
I do
I
seem to remember drawing Quatermass comic strips as a kid, having just seen Quatermass and thinking, well, he can't really be dead, can he? At the end of it,
wow.
spoilers.
Yeah, he does die at the end. Yeah, it's which is I wonder what that's about. Is it just a dramatist going, "That's a dramatic thing to do to a character"? Fine, I do the same
Right.
thing. Um,
Yeah.
or is it kind of like, all right, enough fucking Quatermass now?
Well, it's
Mm.
it's not as if we've been exactly pushed to do masses of Quatermass in between. I mean, there's kind
True,
of
but he was quite grumpy.
25 years or something in between. Not 25 years,
I
15
think
years.
another thing about the fourth one is that it's out of time. Quatermass in the 50s, rocketry, space, we're really into that.
Yeah.
Society, culture, it's all about the atomic age.
Yeah.
And Quatermass epitomizes that and criticizes it at the
Yeah.
same time. He's racked with guilt about what happens to Karun and so on. He puts very much, he very much bears that on his shoulders, very much like Oppenheimer.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think if you're going to say who Quatermass was based on, I'd say to an extent Oppenheimer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and in the second one, he still bears the weight of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but yeah,
I think I mean I have read that the way it was made, the 1979 one, Nigel Kneale wasn't entirely happy about that because they kind of
I
showed
believe so.
the planet people as like hippies, and he thought of them as
Yeah,
more like punk rockers, kind
yeah.
of slightly aggressive, and
Symptomatic of the breakdown of society. Yeah,
so they have this weird thing of being hippies, aggressive hippies, which doesn't really
yeah,
work.
yeah. It's an odd one. It's not misconceived. It's maybe misexecuted.
Yeah, yeah,
There's a lot of good stuff in it. I do like it. I think it's fuck it. At the end of the day, it's Nigel Kneale writing
yeah,
Quatermass. That's clever. There's so much
yeah.
good stuff in there.
The novel's very good.
Yes,
It's his,
yes,
his only
yeah. I
full-length novel.
haven't read that for a long, long time.
No, I
Blimey,
haven't
but
read it for
yeah.
a long time, but yeah.
No, it is. You're right. Yeah, and perhaps more coherent. Probably actually to read it again now, it would be telling as to what his original
Yes.
intentions and
Yeah.
feelings
Yeah.
were. But yeah, I'm glad it exists,
Yeah.
and I'm glad we get John Wills as Quatermass. That's great.
Yeah. 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 I mean, you can't fault him. I remember people at the time saying, "Oh, he's too mild. He's not kind of
But
snarky
he's
enough."
old.
But yeah, that's it. He's clearly supposed to be. He's had enough. He's
Well,
just
and it's very much the theme of it that
yeah.
he is old and tired, and all he wants, and the world's gone to shit.
Yeah.
And maybe a young man can deal with that, but he can't.
Yeah.
And that's clearly a theme.
Yeah.
So yeah, yeah, you wouldn't get that now.
Like I say, I saw that at the time, and I was kind of by that point, I was kind of aware of Nigel Kneale as a person as well, because I do remember when Kinvig came on,
I
comedy
remember
series,
Kinvig, yeah.
which was only about like a year or 2 years later. I kind of knew that that
It
was
was
the same
nine as well.
guy.
I
Yeah,
think it's the same year, or 1980. Maybe it's 1980, but it's around the
yeah,
same time. Yeah,
yeah,
I definitely watched Kinvig, but the name Nigel Kneale didn't mean anything to. I didn't. I had no
yeah.
connection
It's possibly
with that
just me
Quatermass.
being that sort of 3 years older. I
Mm,
kind of
mm.
just picked it up.
That's when it matters. At that age, that's when it makes a difference.
Yeah. So, what was your
Um,
first experience of Quatermass then? Was that the films?
Master and the Pit on
Yeah.
VHS.
Oh, right.
I
So you
don't.
hadn't seen the
I
Hammer films before that?
I don't recall. Now they may have been on the background. Was one shot in that BBC Two season? I don't think it was.
I've got a feeling for some reason that I saw Quatermass and Quatermass and the Pit on Channel 4.
Right.
I think the first of the fit. No, Quatermass and Quatermass 2 on Channel 4. And
Yeah.
Quatermass and the Pit I had seen on ITV on night time.
Night time. Yeah.
I was just gonna say I better explain night time. That was kind of the local ITV
Time
network, Time
teas.
Tees, had
Yeah.
this late night strand where they used to show all Hammer horror films and things, and it had this kind of logo, which was a cat, this kind of intro thing, which was a cat walking
Yeah.
along a wall, wasn't it, with some sort of
Yeah. Yeah.
discordant piano music, and this voice goes, night time.
Night time. Yeah. It's the most unjordy thing imaginable.
Night time.
But yeah, I know. If I had seen the films, they were totally out of context for me.
Yeah, yeah,
So it was Quatermass and the Pit on VHS
yeah,
when around the time that came out, maybe a bit after it came out. So I didn't know what year it
yeah.
was, 88. So it would have been around 88,
Yeah,
18,
89 I've got
87.
from my research. Oh, okay,
Was it
89.
89?
Yeah.
Good. Okay, 89.
I do
Graham Nash
remember.
may have been involved here.
Yeah, I do remember I'd left college and I was on the dole because it was the
Mhm.
80s, and I just randomly saw it in Woolworths and thought, oh,
Right.
I've got to buy that, and spent probably like an entire fortnight's dole on it.
I saw it in the library. I got it out from Wallsend Library.
Yeah,
That's where I got it from. I remember. And I was just amazed at this relic, this thing.
yeah, it was a
Uh,
very unlikely thing for them to release on VHS, wasn't it, at that time?
but bearing in mind, I hadn't experienced quite, maybe the 1979 when I was too young.
Yeah,
So what we were talking about before of this thing that you could never going to see, this mythical thing,
yeah,
there it was.
yeah,
And I remember jogging back home,
yeah,
and commandeering the video recorder and saying, "Yeah, I'm taking this to my room now." Or maybe I sat and watched it with my parents. I can't remember. I may
yeah,
have done because they would have been interested in seeing that again. Certainly, my
yeah,
dad would. So, yeah, and absorbed it in one sitting, and then absorbed it again, and as much as
yeah.
I could over that rental period because I thought it was magnificent. I was stunned
Yeah,
by it.
yeah, I was pretty much the same. I probably hadn't seen a lot of television that was that old. Probably
No,
hadn't seen
I
any
mean Doctor
television
Who at
that was
most,
that old.
Unearthly
Yeah,
Child, things like that.
yeah, and I was astounded of what they could achieve, really.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, so,
And also, this was around the time where I was starting to get copies of Hartnell episodes
yeah,
and Troughton. And it was better, but earlier.
yeah,
And I think that kind of brain wronged me for a bit. Nowadays, you realize that all the stories of Boris Hussein and Mary Lambert saying they put us in the oldest studio with the oldest cameras. Yes, they did.
yeah,
They're using on Earthly Child the cameras that were used to make Quatermass 2.
yeah,
Whereas the ones in Riverside, where they made Quatermass in the Pit, were the best ones, the ones you get kind of later in
yeah,
later Hartnell era.
yeah. I
Um,
mean, it's
uh,
extraordinary when you look at it that you've got this set with
mm,
all this mud, actual mud on the
yeah,
floor. This
yeah, yeah.
quite a substantial set, and it's an incredible thing for them to create in the studio. Yeah,
Well, it's two sets. I mean, you've got the Ealing version, and then you've got the
yeah,
Riverside version for the live stuff as well.
yeah,
And again, the fact that this is live, you compare it to Experiment, worlds apart.
yeah,
It's really a demonstration of how quickly television moved on in the 50s, how it developed,
yeah,
how it learned what it was.
yeah. It's amazing when you think that, like you're saying, it was live and they had a set with mud all over the floor, and you think, oh, you're just asking for somebody to fall arse of a tit in
Yeah,
that set, and nobody, amazingly, nobody does.
that was harder days.
Yeah,
These people have come from the war, they were used to falling over in mud. But yeah,
that's
the design, the writing, the cast, it was just an incredibly superior thing to my mind. And
yeah,
I went, right, I see why Quatermass is this big thing.
yeah.
I get it. So yeah, that would
Yeah, I mean, you do, like I was saying at the beginning of this, you do wonder how much of when people say those stories about it being this huge thing and people, the pub's emptying, how much of it is actually Quatermass in the Pit rather than the Quatermass experiment? Are they like retrofitting the Quatermass experiment into it a
I
little
don't
bit?
I don't think they are. I don't think they are. Because television was really addictive.
Yeah,
And so for those who had it, you hear the stories about everyone gathering into the one person's house that had television for the coronation. I
yeah,
believe they did similar things for dramas,
yeah,
for oh, you must watch this. And it was a source of pride. Oh, come round to my place to watch Quatermass.
yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I have television. Um,
I have a
that
new 10-inch television.
I do, yeah, yeah. Um, I have 6 inches. Um, I don't use it as a rule, but yeah, it's such a different time. I
Yeah,
find the 30s to the 50s fascinating in television. One, because we have so little of it, but
yeah,
also because that's when it's created. That's when it becomes its own thing. It
yeah,
comes from theatre and it comes from film, but it's neither.
yeah,
It has elements of both. And I think Quatermass really shows that development.
yeah, yeah. I mean, what for me kind of shows what an impact Quatermass and the Pit had
Hmm.
on the culture is the
Mhm.
fact that there's a spoof of it in the Goon Show.
Yes.
Here comes Professor Ned Quatermass.
Oh, it's me, Ned Quatermass, son of a scientist and doctor of darkness. Two for the price of one. Up!
And Tony Hancock. Hancock does one as well,
Yeah,
it's a really big thing. It's kind of analogous to how you get with the Daleks a few years later, I think.
yeah,
The Daleks more for children, but that, Quatermass mania kind of
yeah,
did seem to happen while it was running. For the times that it was running, it did seem to be commanding attention greatly. And don't forget, Quatermass 2 was one of the things that was scheduled as a big hitter against the launch of ITV.
yeah, yeah,
With the death of Grace Archer, also, Quatermass is back.
yeah,
So Experiment did have an impact.
yeah, yeah. I think as good as Reginald Tate is, and we'll get to his
Mhm.
predecessor shortly, but I think Andre Morel is probably the best of the TV Quatermasters.
He's generally seen as a definitive. I would tend to agree. I do have a soft spot for Reginald Tate. I wish we had
Yeah,
more of him.
yeah,
Yeah, but Morel is just faultless in the part. I mean,
yeah,
everyone's faultless in that. Christ, they're amazing. But
yeah,
he really commands it without being overblown
yeah,
in a love him Tom Baker sort of way.
yeah,
He doesn't take away from anyone else. I mean, Cecil Linder is just as strong as he is as
yeah,
Roney, and Morel allows it.
yeah,
Absolutely steps back and lets him have his moments. Same with
yeah.
Christine Judd.
It's
Even she, a woman, gets
yes,
something to do and has
yeah,
age, has intelligence.
yeah. Well, what I like about Andre Morel is he has a couple of substantial speeches in that.
Mhm.
But it never sounds like he's making a speech. He's very naturalistic. He can convey
Yeah,
like what is essentially a speech without making it sound stagey. He's very
while
good
being a
at it.
human, it's not pompous. It's not
Yeah,
absolutely. Incredible actor. No two
yeah,
ways around. I wish we had the massacre.
yeah,
I'd love to see him in Doctor Who, but yeah,
yeah. He lived nearly long enough to have been in the the John Mills one. I think it was only about a year or two
blimey.
before that he died.
I mean, imagine if it had been him. That would have been
Yeah,
extraordinary.
yeah.
Um,
Yes, was the music for Quatermass in the Pit, was that original or was that
yeah, Trevor Duncan.
library? All right.
Original, I think.
Because the other two had just used library,
The other two were
obviously.
all library.
Yeah,
Yeah. And I do miss the Bringer of War
Yeah.
and Inhumanity on the end, particularly.
Yes.
When I watch it now, I kind of go, no, that's not right. That's not canon.
Yeah.
Come on, Neil and Cartier, who invented and created this, get it to how I want. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's all. And it's great music. It's very overblown in a way, I suppose, to
Yeah.
modern sensibility. All that sort of bit.
It's quite
But
cinematic though, isn't it? I suppose
it
television at that time
is.
didn't use very cinematic music, but that
It's
does. Yeah.
comparing the entire production to contemporary television of that time, contemporary television dramas. It's extraordinarily cinematic.
Yeah.
And that's something that's always said of Cartier. He really wanted to make it more cinematic and more visual.
What would have come next for you time-wise? Would it have been Quatermass 2 or the
Quatermass 2.
films? Quatermass
Quatermass
2.
2. Getting a fairly decent copy of Quatermass 2 on
Yeah.
the Pirate network. That's what, 91, 92-ish?
Yeah. I mean it's the one of the television episodes that went the longest without an official release, wasn't it? I mean, it really didn't get an
Yeah,
official release until the the
the
the
box set,
DVD.
yeah.
Yeah, the DVD box
Well, there
set.
was there was that episode shown as part of the Lamb Grove Day, which was
Oh
1991.
yeah. Yeah.
So that would have been the first bit of Quatermass 2 I saw.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think it wasn't long after, it really wasn't long after that I had a copy of the whole lot and perfectly watchably.
Yeah.
Um,
It's a bit of a
and
mixed bag, isn't it, Quatermass
it's an
2?
interesting one, isn't it, Quatermass
Yeah.
2? Yeah. I mean, John Robinson comes in for a lot of flack. I suppose you agree with me that outside the films, of course, he's the weakest Quatermass.
Yeah. Well, I didn't realize until fairly recently that he was kind of brought in fairly last minute because they had been going to do it
Well,
with Reginald Tate.
I researched this before we started.
Yeah.
Because yes, fairly late on, but Reginald Tate died a month before location filming was going to start.
Yeah.
Now, location filming is a while before your studio time dates, so
Yeah.
by the time you get to studio, I mean, the myth I always believed was that in episode 1, he's kind of reading his lines off cue cards because he's been brought in at the very last minute
Yeah.
because Reginald Tate's died. Well, no, he died, with time to spare.
Yeah. I think it was a couple of
So
months before. Yeah.
so he's just acting it like that.
Yeah.
And having seen John Robinson in other things since, he just kind of acts like that.
Yeah.
Nigel Kneale always said he wasn't very happy with the technical dialogue.
Yeah.
And I've got a feeling that the bits where he looks like he's reading off cue cards are probably for technical dialogue.
Yeah. He seems to, I mean, I don't know anything about him. I don't know if he was a film actor, but he seems to be more comfortable on the filmed stuff than the
Mhm.
studio stuff.
I'd say he's a lot more theatrical than Tate or Morrell. He's a lot more
Yeah.
declamatory. I mean, Tate kind of plays it down. Tate's
Yeah.
performance is actually remarkably naturalistic.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's not sort of playing it big at all.
Yeah.
Whereas I think John Robertson is more so.
Yeah.
But then, you've got Monica Gray, who's again being very, very, very
Yeah. Yeah.
against him. And Leo Pugh, who's being, I'm the comedy Welshman, aren't I?
Yeah.
In a way. So
And Roger Delgado. Roger Delgado's in that as well.
Roger Delgado is in it. Wilfred Bramble again. Delgado's amazing because straight away you hear that voice. I remember watching it the first time and going,
Yeah.
oh my God.
Yeah.
Because he hasn't got a beard.
Yeah, he
But
got
then
no
you hear
beard.
the voice, you hear the voice, it's go, oh yeah, Roger Delgado. And you look at the eyes, the hooded eyes as well.
Yeah.
He's great in it.
Yeah.
He's tremendous. But again, all the cast is strong.
Yeah.
And I suppose in those days, yeah, they had to be because they were all you had.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you're doing it
Um,
live, yeah, you've got to have somebody that knows what they're doing. And
Someone who's reliable and someone who can convey the character simply, clearly.
yeah.
Simply doesn't mean without thought, without depth,
Yeah.
but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it is a much more sumptuous production than the Quatermass Experiment. It's got a lot of location scope.
Yeah. Yeah.
including all that stuff filmed in the bowels of TV Centre that was then being built.
Yes.
Where he sees the Amanid thing, and it's got the Amanid things.
Yeah.
And I just love that. I think it's actually Nigel Kneale doing that narration. Now, do you remember TV 50?
I do, yeah. Well, yeah.
You will do because you're you. And there was a science fiction section and they had clips from Doctor Who, which were amazing, and a clip from Quatermass 2, which showed the Amanid things.
Yes.
And I've been obsessed with the Amanid things. They hardly ever called that. They called that once in dialogue.
Yeah.
I want to start a band called the Amanid Things.
It's quite grim, Quatermass 2 as well, isn't it?
It is, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. When you get the revelation that the pipes have been plugged up with human flesh, that's strong stuff for the 50s.
That is very strong stuff. Yeah. As it should be. I mean, I think this is one reason why Kneale and Cartier stuff survived, because it wasn't supposed to go there. Look at 1984.
Yeah.
Which admittedly the terror all comes from Peter Cushing's performance, but still it's terrifying.
Yeah.
Affecting. Yeah, it is. It is, and all the scenes of the zombified people on film, they're very striking. Yeah. They're very evocative of World War II, of course.
Yes.
Yeah. They would have struck a different chord in people who watched it at the time.
Yeah.
Than for us. But still the zombification. Yeah, it's
and that's kind of a metaphor as well, isn't it? For kind of radicalization in a wartime sense of
absolutely. Absolutely. The dehumanization that comes from radicalization. Yeah. Totally. Like them all, Kneale has stuff to say in it.
Yeah.
And then you get episode 6.
Yeah, see, that's why I was saying it's an odd one. It's kind
absolutely,
because you can see why. I mean, he wrote the script for the film, which we'll talk about shortly, and he left all of that stuff out, and you can see why, because it doesn't fit at all.
It kind of goes Doctor Who. And it's not magnificently well. I mean, the set for the planet, my Christ, it is tarpaulins.
Yes.
It's really obviously tarpaulins. And I know the amount of money. There's an anecdote with the director, with the designer saying, look, we're going to fling all the chairs in the corner and put tarps on them because that's it. That's all we've got, and stick some dry ice on it.
Yeah. And there's that terrible thing with the helmets as well, which you see in other TV shows like Pathfinders and things, where at that time, if they actually put glass plates on them or plastic or whatever, you wouldn't be able to hear what the actors were saying. So they've basically just got a hole. You've got to imagine there's glass there.
I must correct you, though. I think you'll find that those spacesuits were based on the ones that the British Astronomical Society had been designing at the time.
Oh, right.
I'm not even sure the BBC made them. I think they may have hired them from them.
Oh, right.
There's a couple of other photos at the time. Yeah, I didn't know this until recently. And so they are, actually what was supposed to be going into space from us, which seems extraordinary.
Yeah.
Because they look like something out of season 2 of Blake 7, with the big snouts and everything like that. They're very odd things.
Yeah.
And they're held together with string. There's people tying them up, and I think that's not airtight. Don't do that, Quatermass. Don't fly in that.
It's a shame because it kind of, when it goes there, its credibility kind of goes out the window.
It does take away.
I mean, for starters, you've got 2 very elderly astronauts.
Yeah, indeed. Mind you, at this point, Gagarin hadn't gone up, had he? So we didn't know. This is the other extraordinary thing about Quatermass, of course. It happens during the start of the space race in the 50s. Yeah. When the first 2 went out, man had not been in space, let alone to the moon, which is extraordinary, really.
That's the unusual thing. I've always thought this about some of the sort of early Jerry Anderson stuff. It's kind of not really space age; it's jet age, isn't it? It's jet age technology.
Yes.
But sort of transposed to space. And
in that way that decades kind of like, as in 1960, 61, 62 are kind of the fag end of the 50s.
Yeah.
Rather than, I think it's 63, maybe 62, but the 60s really kick in.
Yeah.
So episode 6 is an odd one. I like
Yeah.
it in its own way.
Yeah.
I like the balls of attempting it. But the tarpaulin, oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I've never seen anything that bad in BBC or science fiction on television again. And it makes you wonder about the Quatermass experiment. Some in Toby Haydock's book, there are some reviewers that seem to be a bit down on the realization of the creature in episode 6, saying it's
Yeah.
lots of twigs poking through set windows.
Yeah.
And with the 2 available set photos that exist from that episode, maybe it was.
Yeah. In fairness to Nigel Kneale, though, he certainly learns by his mistakes, because he seems to have kind of looked at Quatermass 2 and thought, okay, so I can't do these things because
Yeah.
it'll look rubbish.
Yeah.
What can I do that won't look rubbish? And he sort
Yeah.
of brings it all back for Quatermass and the Pit.
Well, I think that's very much Kneale and Cartier in concert, because Cartier
Yeah.
was the one responsible for realizing it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it does seem that they very much worked in a symbiotic way.
Yeah.
Kneale had ideas about. I mean, Kneale played, created the monster at the end of Experiment. The
Yeah.
hand in the glove, which is a nice bit of prop. Actually, I think that's pretty
Yeah.
good
Yeah.
for a writer. But they really, they do seem to refine what they're doing for Pitt.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Pitt is obviously technically the most accomplished of the lot. I'd even include the film in that. I'd even include
Yeah.
Quatermass in that.
Well, I think we should probably get on to the films. We've avoided them for long enough.
Right. Yes.
So we start off
Well, I don't want to get out of the films because you don't know what you're talking about. So I'm just going to walk out of this room because I'm in a bad mood because I'm an American. I mean, what the hell? Jesus.
So we've got the Quatermass experiment with an X, no E.
I come to them backwards. The first one I saw was Quatermass in the Pit.
I've got a feeling it probably was for me as well, because like I say, I probably saw it on
So
night
should we do them
time.
backwards then?
Yeah, yeah.
And that's not such a shock because Andrew Keir plays a man of intelligence.
Yeah. It's a good film. I would say it's one of Hammer's best
It is a good
films.
film.
It's not really
regarded
as a typical Hammer film because it's not, vampires.
It's absolutely one I can look at as an adjunct, as a different way of telling the same story to the TV version, and the two don't conflict because they both have their strengths.
Yeah.
And it starts with really young Gareth Thomas finding a skull. That's great, isn't it?
Yes.
And he's so recognizably Blake. It's kind of like, oh, that's Blake. Let's find a skull. So that's always delighted me. But
I mean, I think obviously it's instantly got something over the black and white ones because it's got 10 years better. 10 years advancement in special effects.
Yeah.
But also, you've got a script by Nigel Kneale written himself.
Yes,
and,
he isn't being interfered with,
And you've got Andrew Keir, who is a very, very good actor.
Very, very good actor. Very, very good actor. Yeah. And Julian Glover as Breen. I kind of prefer him as Breen to John Bushell. Is it John Bushell? Anthony Bushell. Who's a bit kind of shouty sometimes for me.
Yes.
And I get that that's a military gun man, but also it's a bit kind of shouty for me and staccato. But it's Glover's that bit more subtle with it. And it's in color and it's sumptuous. I do prefer the design of the spaceship and the Martians in the BBC one.
Yeah.
Especially the Martians. It's a good film. It's a really good, solid.
Yeah, I mean, because the BBC one really is kind of the spaceship. They're kind of saying we'll design something that could be mistaken for a bomb, whereas kind of really in the film one, you look at it and you think it doesn't look terribly like a bomb, does it? It kind of looks like a
once they've uncovered more of it, it just isn't, is it? Yeah. But then I suppose in the film you're streamlining the story anyway. So why have all the you have the unexploded bomb stuff? I haven't watched the film for a while, but you have it mentioned to begin with, don't you? And then it's disposed of.
Yeah.
Which you don't need. You want to get to the aliens.
Yeah. Yeah, Barbara Shelley's very good in it as well.
Barbara Shelley's very good in it.
Who
Absolutely.
was always, I think Barbara Shelley was kind of one of the best actresses in the Hammer films, because although they
Yes.
kind of put her forward as a sort of glamour puss like the rest of them, she could
Yeah.
genuinely act, which a lot of them
Did he
couldn't.
do it? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's interesting the changes he makes, because they are all, he doesn't do a lot to change the story. They're all changes just, oh, I've got a little bit more money. I can do a little bit more with
Yeah.
this.
And to compress it.
Yeah, yeah.
And done intelligently. The story doesn't suffer. Apart from in Grace Notes, perhaps. But yeah, no, it's a really. I must watch that again. Actually, it's years since I've watched that.
Yeah, it's a good film. But yeah, going back to its two predecessors 10 years earlier, which were kind of being made sort of in between the TV series, weren't they? They were that close to the TV series.
Yes, Experiment is very soon after the Quatermass Experiment.
Yeah.
And the BBC did the deal behind Nigel Kneale's back, and he wasn't happy at all.
Oh, because he didn't write that, did he? It was
no. They said, we own this script because we paid you to write it, and it's now our copyright. So
yeah.
And there was argy-bargy for a long time, and Kneale never got over that. He never quite trusted the BBC in the same way again.
Yeah.
He was really annoyed not about money, about it being taken out of his hands as a creative force.
Yeah.
I totally get that. And look at what happened. Brian Donlevy.
Yes, because they bring in this American. See, he wasn't even a big name American actor. He was just a American actor.
And he's still the wrong casting. There are hundreds of American actors working at the time who were bigger names and who would have been better fit. Why? Yeah. Why the hell? And yeah, he really puts me off. It took me a long time to come to watching those two films because of him. They're really well-made films. They look fantastic. They're beautiful. They're good stories. But he's just so off-putting to me.
He has this strange mumbly delivery, doesn't he? As we've mentioned many times. The way he says Quatermass.
Yeah, Quatermass. And then he gets shouty, and like I did before, he just suddenly starts hectoring when there's no need to. Yeah, well, I'm doing this, and you're wrong, and I'm Quatermass, and that's that. Ha! Yeah. And he's off. Fuck off. And he doesn't earn it.
Yeah.
The other Quatermass all suffer. There's no suffering here.
No.
They all have consciences.
Yeah. I read an interview years ago. I think it was in an issue of Starlog with Val Guest.
Mm-hmm.
And he was talking about him and saying that apparently he was an alcoholic.
Yes. Oh yeah, apparently.
And he was like permanently pissed throughout the filming of that. And he wore a wig. And he wore a wig, which is why he has the hat on most of the time, was to like keep his wig off, because when they were filming outdoors in the British World Ring, his wig kept blowing off.
Oh god.
This is according to Val Guest. I can't back that up.
You can understand. Well, he was there. You can understand why Kneale was furious. Imagine those films written by him, condensed by him, and shot by Cartier. With that understanding of the material. Those first two films, I have copies of them.
Yeah,
they are okay, but all the good stuff about them for me is so overwhelmed by what an appallingly wrong interpretation of the character this is.
Yeah, I mean, Quatermass 2 is better because Nigel Kneale. Did he write or co-write the script? He had a hand in it. Yeah,
I think he wrote. I think he had some more authority this time.
Yeah, so it's better in that respect, But Brian Donlevy's not any better.
Brian Donlevy is just Brian Donlevy, and that's it's a shame.
Yeah,
it's a real shame.
Sort of whistling. I was right. They're coming down by the hundreds. Get Hall. Listen very carefully. If you ever hear a sound like this, run for your life. Run Run before it is too late, for if you stay, you will lose your soul. Coming closer, closer, closer is an enemy from outer space. From out of this world it came, a horrifying terror that threatened mankind, haunting and possessing every human being within range, an indestructible danger beyond all earthly understanding.
Vincent Broadhead is dead. Dead? I watched him die a few hours ago in that plant. His whole body covered with some kind of corrosive poisoning, eaten away.
It poisoned everything it touched. The mind and the body of man was no longer in his control. They ran from this unknown menace, but there was no escape.
We're holding this block. We've got to, at least until the oxygen takes effect. What's in those domes, mister? Yes, or does it kill us? Inside those domes are creatures from outside this earth. Ah, you're mad. I've seen them. Thousands of tiny creatures that can join together and expand into things 100 feet high.
Imagine if Reginald Tate had been an experiment, would actually have him doing the whole story.
Yeah.
Have a representation of him doing it, and it'd have been great. And the crass way of electrocuting the monster at the end. Experiment, rather than appealing to the humans, which is the whole point of the thing. It's terribly American.
And the monster looks worse. How can the monster look worse in a kind of well, I was going to say multi-million. It probably didn't cost $1 million.
We don't know how the monster would have looked. I mean, ultimately, it wasn't shot on film in the studio. It was Nigel Kneale waving his hand in a glove. I don't know. It may be one of those things that looks better in photos. And apparently, there was a shot in episode 6 of it climbing up the side of Westminster Abbey.
Yeah.
Which was another guy putting his hand in another glove and moving it up the side of a photo. Who knows how effective that would have looked? But the design of the monster, certainly, it's crass.
Yeah.
Crass is the word I always come to with the Don Levy interpretation.
Yeah. I mean, like I say, 2 has things going for it. Mm-hmm. The locations it's shot on are very nice. It's the same power station, isn't it? It's exactly the same power station they used in the TV show. And I think it's also the one that's in Inferno.
Yes.
It? Yeah.
No, it's the one that's in Gate Destroy.
Yeah.
And Ambassadors of Death. The Inferno one was a different one.
Yeah.
Because I know my gas refineries apparently.
Gas refinery expert.
But I mean, Experiment has a lot going for it as a film. Again, like I say, it looks great. It's nicely shot. It's really nicely made.
Yeah.
Everyone else is great in it. They're hard watches for me.
Yeah. They were successful though. I mean, sorry. I was just saying they were successful. I mean, they essentially launched what became Hammer. They were Hammer at the time.
Yeah. But of course, again, I was saying about Dalek Mania, Quatermass Mania, so you couldn't ever see it on television again.
Yeah.
Word of mouth, go and see this thing. Yeah. And if you hadn't seen the original, which most people wouldn't have done, it's certainly not in America, then it's a good story. It's a good script.
Yeah.
It's just no patch on the original, to my mind.
Yeah. What you were saying about Nigel Kneale, throwing his weight around after the original, also they kind of they wanted to make another unrelated one, didn't they, after Quatermass 2? Do you know this? They wanted to make another Quatermass film. Quatermass in the Pit hadn't been out on television yet.
Yeah.
Nigel Kneale said no, and it became X the Unknown, which I don't know if you've ever seen it, but it's literally a Quatermass film in everything other than name.
I will watch it again with that mindset. I did not know that. Oh, that's fascinating.
Yeah, but he didn't want them to do one. They thought they could do one without his sort of permission, and he said no.
I think after Experiment, he got onto his agent, and a deal was thrashed out. I mean, you look at later stuff like Termination with the Daleks. The copyright on the Daleks was split between him and the BBC.
Yeah,
which clearly the BBC thought wasn't the case with Quatermass Experiment.
Yeah,
So I don't know if that was instrumental in hashing out the deals the BBC made with writers about IP. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, the sad thing about X the Unknown is it's got another American actor in as the professor
Uh-huh.
part, Dean Jagger, and he's actually much better than Brian Donlevy. And you think, why couldn't they have got him for Quatermass?
It's not a high bar though. Um, yeah. I mean, Peter Cushing was around.
Yeah,
He'd have been a great Quater. Actually, he would have been.
yeah,
Um, and Neil had worked with him. But
yeah,
yeah, it's the films. Yeah, apart
yeah,
from Pitt, which is great. But
yeah.
I do see them as very separate interpretations.
Well, yeah, it's 10 years, isn't there, between Quatermass 2 and Quatermass in the Pit?
Oh, I meant from the TV.
Oh no, sorry, I thought you meant on the
There's a
films.
completely different way of telling similar stories with the same character. But
Yeah,
it's like the Dalek films.
yeah,
I don't view them as canon to Doctor Who, the TV show,
no,
but they're very enjoyable in their own right.
yeah. Okay, so there's a couple of little coders to Quatermass
Yes.
that we haven't covered. There's
Mhm.
the radio docudrama, the Quatermass
Yes.
Memoirs. Have you heard that?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
That,
Yes.
that
Yes.
was that
Yes.
was that was 1996.
Yep.
So
And Nigel
and
Kneale
that
narrates a lot. He's
yeah,
got
and
a
Andrew
interview
Keir is
part.
in it as
Andrew Keir, yeah,
Quatermass.
yeah. Again, I've
Uh,
listened to it for a while. I listened to bits
yeah, I
recently
haven't
to
listened to
read
it
it,
for a long time.
but it seems fascinating.
I mean, that has clips of the existing bits of experiment in it, as I
Yeah,
recall.
yeah.
Um, as far as
Well,
I
it
can
covers a
remember.
lot. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So that was quite interesting. And the other little coda is the recreation of the Quatermass experiment in 2005, the live
I have a third coda
broadcast.
to add then.
Oh, right.
Actually, can I bring in this coda now? You know that there
Yeah,
was a
yeah.
live performance of Quatermass in the Pit in a quarry.
Oh, yeah, I have heard of
I
that.
was there.
Yeah,
And it was amazing. It was just really, really good. Obviously, a completely different experience,
yeah,
but they really pushed the sort of radiophonic sound effects side, and it was reverberating around this quarry.
yeah.
When the wild hunt started, when we all went hob, um, yeah, really felt it for a moment. It was a great production.
Oh, wow.
All green
Yeah,
lighting. It was a night. The quarry was all lit with. It was really atmospheric and tremendous. Great experience.
yeah. It's a shame they didn't do a recording of it or
It
anything.
is a great shame. It's a shame
Yeah.
I could have taken my video camera.
What year was that in?
96, I think, 95, 96,
Six. Oh,
5 maybe. I was going out Sweeney.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah, and
that's other coda.
like I was saying in 2005, BBC Four
Mm,
did this restaging of the Quatermass experiment,
yeah.
very very reduced
Yes.
to
Yes.
about 90 minutes from
Yeah. Yeah.
however long it was originally. And
Yeah.
Nigel Kneale was still alive then, so it's
He
it's
was.
it's
He was
surprising
indeed.
because he'd never, he wasn't he wasn't known for kind of being free and easy with his IP. Um,
No,
so it's very
I don't know the
surprising.
story of his involvement with it.
Yeah,
Whether he had any much, apart from presumably signing a contract and taking a check.
I
Um,
think they talked to him about it, but
mhm.
and I think I don't know, I might be wrong here, but I think he suggested the idea of not having a monster at the end and having it being like
Right.
a psychic thing.
That may
Um,
have come from his experience in 1953.
yeah,
Going back to what I was saying before about some critics said that it was a bit disappointing the resolution of the revelation of the monster
yeah.
wasn't as good as the glove at the end of episode 5. Um,
So what did you think of that
yeah,
when you saw it?
I enjoyed it. I was glad it happened.
Yeah,
Um, I think Jason Fleming played it well.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it was interesting that it was live.
yeah, yeah.
That was nice. That was nice.
I do
Uh,
remember David Tennant, who's also in it, almost falling out of a tit when he's running down a corridor, which I thought, all right, it is
yeah,
live. So,
and of course the famous thing that he'd just been announced as being the Doctor, and so Mark Gatiss had to go, Doctor to him,
yes.
and give a little bit more emphasis. And David Tennant, as far as I recall, did a little tiny smile that he couldn't
Yeah,
stop.
yeah,
Of that acknowledgement.
yeah.
Um, I don't think I've watched the whole thing since.
No, I don't think I have either. I've got it. I do have it on DVD, but
Yeah, same here. But
yeah,
it was nice to see the whole story. It's been interesting recently to see the newly discovered photos, which give a
yeah,
much. I've now got a much clearer visual idea of what the hell the rest of it looked like
yeah,
than I've ever had before, and that's nice. That's nice. Wouldn't it be fascinating to do a reconstruction of episodes?
yeah. It's a pity that
Because
there are no audios
it shows you
there
how
are with
spoiled
Doctor
we are with
Who.
Doctor Who, doesn't it?
Yeah,
I suppose what is annoying is there probably would have been telesnaps.
yeah,
John Cure was very active at that point, taking telesnaps, and he telesnapped everything, and there was only one channel. He
yeah,
would have telesnapped Quatermass Experiment, but they're long gone.
yeah. It's a shame.
And that's a bastard.
I do wonder ever if because obviously Nigel Kneale is no longer with us,
Mm.
his family seem to be keeping up his wishes of holding on to the IP and not sort of giving the rights to anybody. I do wonder if we'll ever get any remakes or movies or anything of it.
And should we? Is there
Well,
anything?
probably not. I mean, it's of its time.
It is.
Like we've said, some bits of it would seem very dated now unless you did it as a period piece. I think you'd have to do it as a period piece.
I think also that character type has gone out of fashion. The kind of
Yeah,
middle-aged white male, elder,
yeah.
intelligent figure has gone out of fashion, which I don't know.
But I
Uh,
mean, when you look back at it, I suppose without Quatermass, there might not have been Doctor Who. There might not have been other kind of television science fiction. It certainly showed the
You look
BBC
at
they could do it.
it's a bit like the Star Wars effect. You look at television science fiction in the 1950s across both channels, and after
Yeah,
Quatermass, it explodes.
yeah,
Um, that was such a thing and a popular thing that made people go, "Oh, people like science fiction," and there's loads of it on radio
yeah,
before,
yeah,
but it just hasn't made that transition
yeah,
um, because people in BBC television were very, very staid.
yeah,
Really, a lot of them were.
yeah. And I
Um,
think he also moved it away from the kind of comic book Flash Gordon idea
Absolutely, it's
of
intelligent drama. It's
yeah,
it's it's a play. It's a TV play that
yeah,
happens to be science fiction.
yeah,
Um, Very much along the lines of the other work that he was doing at the time, and another work that Cartier was doing, like Dr. Korczak and the Children,
yeah,
with Andre Morel.
yeah,
It's absolutely in the feel of the evolving television form
yeah,
of the time. Tell you something else I like about Experiment. Just to go
yeah.
back to reading television science fiction, it's got Eugene Lehey in it.
Right.
He's actually in the two existing episodes, and he was in RUR, the very
Oh, it's the
first piece
very
of
first.
television telefantasy ever in the world.
Oh, wow.
Um, so there's a little link there with the very first one in
Yeah.
1930.
I think that's a good place to end, I think.
I'll do, won't it? Eugene
Yeah,
Lehey, excellent.
yes.
Let's
Doesn't get
celebrate it.
mentioned enough.
Celebrate his name.
Yeah. So, yeah, thanks for joining me to talk about Quatermass. We should do another one sometime and just talk about the rest of Nigel Kneale stuff because this
Hell
Quatermass
yeah!
doesn't
Anytime you
even
want
dent
me.
the surface. There's so much
Anytime
other
you want me, I'm
good
there.
stuff.
Yep, yep.
Yeah,
Totally.
so thanks for joining me, and we should do this again some other time.
Definitely.
That was quite a that it's finished now, is it? Is it? Oh, good. That was Quatermass. I'd like to thank Rupert for taking time from his busy schedule to join me in the October Club. And you can join me again next episode for another fascinating chat. You have been listening to the October Club, presented by Paul Ferry, with special guest star Rupert Booth. The theme music was written by Peter Faulkner, and the episode was produced and edited by Paul Ferry. If you enjoyed the October Club, please like and subscribe, or visit the website at octoberclubpodcast.wordpress.com. This was a Mosaic production.